those interest rates are now up, what, 8%? All the smart people. And I was talking to people I thought were really smart. They're saying, oh, these interest rates can't last. These interest rates they're gonna go down. Well, they're not going down. And now what? Home mortgage is over 8%. Do you remember? It was so long ago, so long ago, a year or two, when interest rates were like at 2%. They couldn't give the money away. And now, of course, now where are we? 8%. No big shock, no big surprise to that one, because there's so much money floating around. And here's the problem. The problem you have is we've got what, $1 trillion now in credit card debt. Okay. And interest rates are at 8%. So if you're looking to sell a home, a lot of our people we work with would like to downsize. You get to a certain age, you say, hey, maybe I don't need a 24-car garage and 8-bedroom, the servants' quarters. We don't need 12 servants. We can probably do a 3 or 4, so you want to downsize, right? Maybe from 4 bedrooms to 3. The polo ponies. Who needs polo ponies these days? You don't need that. You don't need that. The 3 swimming pools, one's probably enough. Although Matthew Perry seems to think that you can get it done with a hot tub. Anyway, point being, people downsizing, but they can't downsize. Awful lot of folks, they cannot downsize. They can't downsize because if they were to go to a smaller place, we just had this situation on Friday. Somebody looking to downsize. The house is too big. Really want to, don't need 4 bedrooms anymore. And there's plenty of people willing to buy it. But the problem, these high interest rates cause 2 problems. Number one, the people who would buy it can't qualify now for a mortgage as high as they used to be able to qualify for which they used to be able to qualify. Anyway, the point is that the higher the interest rates, the less money you can pay, because it all revolves around that holy monthly payment, right? If you have a certain amount of income, you can pay a certain amount a month for your housing. Well, housing payments, if you're borrowing the money, is made up of interest and principal. The principal part has to do with how much did you pay for the thing. The interest has to do with the interest. How much are you paying the bank, right? Well, when the interest rate's at 8%, right, which is 4 times the interest that it used to be, that means that portion of the payment is 4 times higher, thereabouts. Make it 3 times higher, okay? So if you were going to put $1,000 into a house, interest and principal, 15-year mortgage, remember those? Thing of the past, right? Well, you were going to do that. Well, now the interest is 4 times higher. Well, your payment is not $4,000, but it's a lot, it's in the $3,000 range. So your payment triples. You can't afford that house because of the interest. But so here's the double problem. The people who would buy your house at a price you'd like to sell it for can't buy it. So they can't pay as much as you'd like to get. Plus, when somebody does finally buy your house, you don't have enough money to buy the condo you're thinking of, right? You finally want to get out of mowing the lawn and shoveling the snow and all that good stuff, go to a condo, right? Well, you can't buy it because it's 8% interest now. You can't afford 8% interest, not on the condo you had your eye on. So people get locked in. As a lot of our folks, you're locked into that house. What are you gonna do? And now we go back to the whole seller financing. Do you do a land contract, which if you're a seller is insanity? You should never do a land contract as the seller. If you're the buyer, land contract's fine. You've got the buyer, you've got the seller over a barrel with the land contract. So if you're buying on a land contract, wonderful. If you're selling, run away from the land contract. Very different consequences if you're the buyer versus if you're the seller. But that's what people are going to now, are going back to the land contracts, because you can get lower interest rate. People don't have to qualify for as much, all the rest of this. So something to think about, right? So that's the real estate. That's the real estate portion. Think about how many of your friends are trying to sell a house. You used to be able, you couldn't buy a house, right? You couldn't buy one because there were no houses on the market. Well, now there are houses on the market, but now you can't afford it. I mean, the price looks the same, but when you go by monthly payment, the monthly payment has skyrocketed. That's a big issue.